Welcome to With the First Pick, where we're going team by team to build a perfect 7-round mock draft. Who is on the clock today? We're breaking down the Detroit Lions, their biggest needs, best fits, and sleeper picks that could make their draft. And by the time we're done, you'll have a complete blueprint for how they can dominate draft weekend. It's time to get on the clock. Let's build the perfect draft for your Detroit Lions. That's Chris Rapasso. I'm Ryan Wilson. 7 picks, Traps, starting with pick 28.
Defense.
This is a team that has very few needs. Traps yells out defense, edge rush, defensive back, defensive line. The only thing I would ask before we go defense,
okay,
do we want to look at interior offensive line if there's a dude there? Is there a dude there, producer striker? And by dude, I mean, oh my gosh, Tyler Booker's there.
Oh, man.
So Donovan Jackson is already gone, which is interesting. I don't think that happens in real life, but Tyler Booker might be a better fit for the body kneecaps.
Yeah, I was thinking that I've been lower on him after his combine, but if there's a team that's going to go out on a limb and pick him in the first round and not give a heck about what he did in Indianapolis, it's probably Dan Campbell's team. So if you're all about it to fill some of the void that they do have to maintain this offensive line as an elite group, maybe the best blocking unit in football, that would be a team at 28 in the Lions that we know is a Super Bowl contender that I would be okay with in the first round.
So just think about him playing alongside Penei Sewell. I mean, that can sort of get you going, right? So
yes.
I sort of love it.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
It's in this class, it's like you have to know how to navigate the draft in that. Not very deep at guard, but deep at edge and defensive tackle and at corner, safety, whatever they want to do. You're not going to get someone with the mashing ability at guard of a Tyler Booker after round one.
Mashing ability. I love it. That's exactly.
He's a masher. He's got 11-inch hands and he's huge. He's gigantic.
The best way to describe him, no doubt about it. All right, so let's see what we got here at edge or defensive tackle, because as Traps mentioned, incredibly deep. And Jared Ivey's juiced up. Shamar Turner, our buddies Josh Edwards and Lige Douzable are higher in Shamar than I am. I wouldn't take him this high, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have an opportunity to go. Omar Norman Lott is juiced up on the inside. Josiah Stewart is quote unquote undersized on the outside. He can get after it. What are you thinking here, Traps?
I like CJ West.
I do too.
I'm only leaning in that direction because he reminded me of Aleem McNeil on film. And when I go back to McNeil, like just in my head, I think of this 340-pound nose tackle. He was actually very similarly sized to CJ West coming out of North Carolina State. They're both tremendous against the run. They give you some pass rushing upside. They're never going to be 60, 70, 80 pressure guys, but CJ West, I think, is just a no-nonsense up the field rusher that, again, is good against the run, and I think the Lions need that. If they're going to score a lot of points and teams are going to be, trying to run the football, I think CJ West would make a lot of sense, especially with McNeil coming off the injury late in the season last year.
It is funny you say that because my comp for CJ West was, in fact, Aleem McNeil. The funny thing is he was 6'1", so a little, quote-unquote, undersized, but weighed 316, so a little less than Aleem. He does have sub-32-inch arms, but I'm less concerned about that after watching him play.
Yeah, it didn't hurt him in college.
In the Big Ten, and I would take him at the bottom of the second, with the understanding that you can never have enough guys on the interior. Yes, they have DJ Reader, and you mentioned Aleem coming off the injury that re-upped Levi Owens-Arike. But again, you're rotating these guys through, and the juice with which CJ plays, I think this is a range where he goes middle of the day too.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Do it. Love it. All right, then let's take a look at the edge position.
The third round, early third.
Strikers who we have, because we have Aiden coming off the injury, of course. They did trade for Marcus Davenport, who was up and down when he was healthy. Josh Paschal has yet to develop into the player they were hoping for. The name that sticks out to me, Traps, and you can certainly add your 2 cents. I love Femi Oladejo at UCLA.
Knew you were going to say that. He kind of reminds me, like, not the player, but the usage of like Yaya Diaby at Louisville, like kind of played out of position. And Oladejo wasn't the same. Like Oladejo was like playing some off-ball linebacker, and then you watch him with his hand in the dirt and then as an overhang edge defender, and you're like, why wasn't he just solely playing there? And that's kind of the vibe that I had with Yaya Diaby, that he was playing inside a D tackle at Louisville, and then he's just been an edge rusher with the Buccaneers and has been a good player. And Oladejo, I think, is a little bendier than Diaby. So Oladejo feels like someone that in the right position and in the right role can be a quality player that's an ascending talent at the edge rusher spot.
Yeah, I think he's a day 2 guy all day long, excuse me. And the funny thing about him, and you sort of touched on it, he was off-ball linebacker at Cal. He was off-ball linebacker when he transferred to
Why?
UCLA. And then he said, he told us, he said, what happened was our linebacker room was so deep, and Carson Schlesinger can attest to that, and they had a couple other guys.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, hey, we need some guys to play outside. He goes, I'll try it. So he literally just on a whim, not a whim, but last season moved outside. And if you watched the Penn State tape, sorry, producer Stryker, you would have thought that the right tackle for Penn State had been playing football for 2 weeks and that Oladejo had been an edge rusher his entire life, the way he got after it in that game. So, and he's number one, he's incredibly smart. He's laser focused on football. He has an edge to him. He was chirping louder than anyone at the Senior Bowl during the practice week. And I would be fine with him here if you're okay with it.
Yeah, and he again feels like a Dan Campbell guy that's going to bite off kneecaps. So that I think with those first 3 picks, they would really add those type of players beyond just what they can do on the field, the value. They have the high motor and the tenacity that I think the Lions are looking for.
All right, pick 130. Comp, not quite a comp. Excuse me. We're bottom of the 4th round here. All right, what shall we do now?
Do you hate receiver?
I don't think I do. They have no, I don't at all. In fact, they have Amon-Ra St. Brown and they have J-Mo, but then Tim Patrick is listed as the starting. I
think they need more depth there.
Yeah, absolutely. They have Khalif Raymond, Antoine Green, who they drafted out of UNC a few years ago. But absolutely. So yeah, let's see what we have here. What strikes you as sticking out to you as a
just trying to think of what they need specifically, or they're just like, hey, we need more wide receiver talent, because there's obviously a lot of different flavors here. Dante Thornton is your just straight line, height, weight, speed specimen, not going to run great routes. Kyle Williams does run good routes. Torrey Horton from Colorado State, I think, can be a high volume type like he was there with the Rams. So those 3 I think are really fascinating. And I love Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech. I just don't know how much volume he can get in the slot with Amon-Ra St. Brown being like an all-pro slot receiver.
So Torrey Horton stuck out to me. He suffered an injury late in the season, and the other name was Isaac Tesla out of Arkansas.
Big slot.
And he's a big slot, but you can move him around at 6'4", and I think he ran the 4.4s.
He tested very well. I like him a lot.
I love the fact that he's a big target, but Torrey Horton's not a small guy either. So let's go with Torrey Horton. We haven't gotten a lot of Torrey Horton love in these perfect mock drafts, and he's a good player who just sort of got lost in the mix because of an injury.
He was like the focal point of that offense for like 3 seasons. He caught a lot of passes.
Yeah, and he's 6'2", 200, and he ran a 4.41. So he's fully recovered from his season-ending knee injury. Just looking, yeah, he was a high jump guy. Yeah, let's do this. Nevada transfer went to Colorado State. Yes, sir. All right.
186 now.
All right.
What are we thinking?
Got 3 picks to go here. We are now firmly in day 3 in the 6th round here, so we can go any number of directions. Let's see what's at safety, because we need a little depth there. We have Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, but behind that, we might want to add some guys. Nickelback is Amik Robertson. So
anyone who can play in the slot. This group is not really that in terms of the type of safety.
Right.
I like RJ Mickens. I don't mind Craig Woodson from Cal. I think they're good players. What about Jordan Hancock from Ohio State? Do you like him?
Yeah, I do.
Me too. I think he of the guys that I'm seeing there on the board, I think he's the most capable of condensing down into the slot. With Robertson got injured late in the season, he's a good player when he's healthy. But I don't think he's someone that precludes you from picking that do-it-all safety that can play in the slot, can be a free safety, 2 deep, single high, whatever it is. I thought Jordan Hancock from start of season to end of season was the most consistent Ohio State back 7 player. There's Denzel Burke in this class as well, Cody Simon at linebacker.
Yeah.
Jordan Hancock, to me, I just thought was always around the football. Didn't see a lot of coverage bust, and he's a good tackler too.
Yep, played in the slot 60% of the time, and then played split time between free safety and in the box, so you can move him around. 6'1", 195. My comp for him was Sean Davis out of Maryland way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
2nd round pick. And I just double checked at the pro day, ran a 4.42, 41.5-inch vertical. So
you're getting that at 196. I think from the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes that he played a lot of football. I think this would be great value for the Lions.
Yeah, and I had him as a late fourth, early fifth. So this feels like you're stealing a little bit in terms of the value here. So love it.
Okay, now on to the 7th round, 228. This could be best player available range, like it is for probably most teams, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we've checked just about every box here. So what sticks out to you here, Traps?
Let's see.
So
Seems
2
like
picks to go.
Do you? What about Ty Robinson to add to double dip on the D line after all the injuries last year, or do you think we go to edge and see what edge is available to add more?
Yeah, I'll see what edge is available. I was going to check the quarterbacks, but they're fine. They have Hendon Hooker, then they signed Kyle Allen, and they have Jake Fromm on the roster, which is sort of funny.
Okay, did you watch Fadil Diggs in person, and do you like him?
I do like Fadil Diggs, and this is around the range that I would take him.
Same.
I like Colin Oliver's versatility. I think you can play him inside or out, but you have that in sort of Femi Oladejo if you want to move him around. So I'm happy going Diggs here. If you want
Diggs, he got the size. He was a big recruit.
Yeah,
transferred in there. Saw some flashes as a pass rusher, and after all the injuries up front in Detroit last year, I think double dipping at edge, no Lions fan would be upset with that.
Yep, 6'3", 257. Ran a 4.57. My comp for him was Kingsley Enagbare from back in the day.
That's a really good one. And he's been a good rotational piece in Green Bay. So like that,
Yep.
I think to get that at 228 makes a lot of
100%.
sense.
All right. And down the home stretch here, one last pick. I just want to check quickly and see.
What other spot are you thinking?
I think that Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, then you have Craig Reynolds, who's been invaluable as a sort of a running back 3, if you want to call him that, but also on special teams. So I don't know if we need. I was looking
there too.
At Rocket Sanders. I mean, we could go Rocket Sanders, but
what about tight end?
Yeah, let's look at tight end.
They just have Brock right behind Sam Laporta.
Yeah, they have Kenny Yeboah, who sort of bounced around. Gadsden's my guy. He's not going to be an inline blocker. He'll give you effort for sure.
What about Mataveo from UCLA? I think he's a pretty good receiver.
I like him. I like him. I like him more than most people.
He's smooth and he catches the football really well. Not a lot of drops on film. Gives you a little bit after the catch too. Again, at 244 as you start him as your tight end 3 or 4, and you hope that he develops behind Sam Laporta. I think for an offense that still is going to probably throw the football a fair amount, I think Mataveo would make a lot of sense.
Yep, willing blocker. Had a rough outing against LSU in pass protection, but there's no crime in that. They got some dudes there, but could get better with coaching. 6'5.5", 260. So he's got the size to do it. And I was higher on him than a lot of people. So let's do that. Boom. All right,
Nailed it.
All right, here we go. Tyler Booker into round 1, CJ West in round 2. So you're bolstering both sides of the interior lines. Femi Oladejo, off-ball linebacker, moved to edge rush. You never would know it and watched him play last year. Torrey Holton, 4'4" guy out of Colorado State, 6'2", 195, gives you a little more physicality on the outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jordan Hancock is going to bring physicality to the slot and the secondary. Fadil Diggs, situational pass rusher. And then, how do you say Maliki's last name?
Mataveo, I think.
Mataveo, UCLA tight end. I love it. That's it. That is the perfect draft for the Detroit Lions. Make sure to subscribe to NFL and CBS on YouTube and download With the First Pick wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for more perfect mock drafts because we are hitting all 32 teams.